Welcome, everyone, to the February 2026 meeting of the Tableau Public TUG, where, if you could not guess from that song, we are going back to Viz Basics. We're excited to be collaborating with the Back to Viz Basics team on this one. That team is Eric Blalash, Shreya Arya, and Victory Omovrah. We're also going to be taking a look at Hideaki Yamamoto's Viz of the day, which was on digital quality of life that he created for the Back to Viz Basics project. And then we are going to hear from Will Sutton, who is going to be demoing his new tool, MCP, for Tableau Public. On the Tableau Public side of the house, your hosts are myself, Lisa Trescott. We have Priyanka Dubal and Eric Howard. Just a little bit more about us. Hello, I'm Lisa Trescott. I am from San Diego, which happens to be home of the next Tableau Conference 2026. So I hope to see you all there. I work at MiraCosta College, where I'm a research analyst. That's where I first started using Tableau. And since then, I got super hooked on it. And I became a Tableau ambassador, a visionary. I won Iron Viz in 2021. I also co-lead another TUG, the California Community Colleges Tableau User Group. And I use Tableau Public as kind of a creative playground where I just love visiting about all the little things that bring me joy. So now over to Priyanka.
Thanks, Lisa, and for that amazing song. That would be my jam for sure. Hi everyone, thank you for being here. I just got back from a vacation. I'm so jet lagged right now, but this is going to be very fun. I've been part of this community for such a long time, and I'm really excited to see all this things happening. So keeping it short, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, over to you, Eric.
All right, thanks. Hi, I'm Eric Howard. Besides being your swag man today, I'll be the host for Hideaki for his segment. I'm a Tableau speaker, a TUG ambassador, TUG leader, and I host this TUG and the Nashville Tableau User Group. We kicked the Nashville group off in 2019, and this one back in 2022, I think. We've been doing it for 3 years now. And I really enjoyed playing with Will Sutton's MCP this week. I got that up and running and been having fun with it. So I'm looking forward to learning some more from his segment today.
A little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
All right, so just a quick look at how today's going to go. We have announcements to kick things off. Then we're going to get to know the Back to Viz Basics team and learn more about that project. Hideaki is going to show us his digital quality of life viz of the day. We will take a quick break for swag, and then Will Sutton will close us out with his MCP for Tableau Public. So just one announcement. Tableau Conference is coming May 5th through 7th here in my hometown of sunny San Diego. And early bird pricing ends next week. They just extended it to February 25th. So this is the cheapest it's going to be. So if you want to come and you want to convince your boss or your company to send you, hopefully they can make the decision by the 25th. Okay, without further ado, in our community spotlight today, we have the Back to Viz Basics team. If you've never heard of Back to Viz Basics, that song probably didn't make a lot of sense to you, but it is one of the community projects. It's designed on focusing more on foundational skills. So this team releases bi-weekly challenges and data sets that welcome you to practice and grow your Tableau skills and ability. One thing that I really love about this project, it's not just for beginners, right? We all benefit from kind of going back to those core principles and revisiting the basics. So everyone of all skill levels is invited to take part. But yeah, we're delighted to have this team that leads the project. So Eric Blalash, Shreya Arya, and Victory Omovrah are here. Eric is one of the founders of the project. He's a Tableau visionary ambassador. He runs the Tableau student guide. He hosts Data After Hours podcast, and he works at Navy Federal Credit Union as a senior BI analyst. We also have Shreya Arya, who's also a Tableau visionary and ambassador. She also recently finished in the top 10 for Iron Viz this year with her late night snacks viz, which is a really beautiful viz. If you haven't seen it, take a look. She has a blog, Data Viz Fairy, where she shares lots of tips and inspiration with Tableau. And she works at Virgin Media as a BI special in the Center for Enablement. And Victory Omovrah is a BI data analyst with experience helping people see and understand data. She's also a Tableau ambassador, a featured author, and plays an active role in the Logos Tableau user group. You all have quite the stacked leadership team. You all are all just amazing people in this community. So welcome. We are very excited to have you here. So I think the first question would probably be more geared toward Eric, since you've been around since the founding of ActiveVis Basics. But how did the project really get started, and how did you kind of become involved as a leader?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lisa. And first and foremost, thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here today and share more about the project that we run. I love telling the story because I feel like all of us were there at some point in our Tableau journeys, but there was a student ambassador by the name of Maria Brock, and when she was learning Tableau, she had she took a moment, took a step back from her computer, and had 30 to 50 tabs open up of forums, YouTube videos, blog posts, all that type of stuff, and it made her realize that there really isn't kind of like a really great guide for people just starting out with Tableau, kind of like the lingo and all that type of stuff. I think Tableau itself has a lot of great resources, but she wanted to kind of create her own website where people could go to learn about, what are visionaries and ambassadors, what is Tableau Public, really basic chart building. So kind of like everything, kind of like your starter pack for getting started with the Tableau community. So she built the Tableau Student Guide website. She kind of moved into different roles. She and I were good friends. And so she said, "Hey, I want this website to continue. Would you be interested in taking it over?" And so I said, "Yes, I would love to do that." But when I took it over, I wanted to kind of start it with my own mark. And at the time, I felt like, there's a lot of great community projects out there. Makeover Monday was huge, or still is huge. Workout Wednesday was huge. Project Health is there was a lot going on, but I felt like there really wasn't a community project that was focused on really those foundational skills. So rather than building a full dashboard, let's just focus on one small concept at a time. And so that is kind of where our project started.
That's awesome. That's really great. Because I like I said before, I love the way you focus in on one thing to really kind of perfect that skill.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the process like building the ActiveVis Basics kind of into a community project?
Yeah, I think, like you said it there, I didn't want to start with something where it was like, build this dashboard, because I think that can be a little bit intimidating to folks, especially if you just opened up the tool for the first time. You drag a few things out and all of a sudden you have this crazy data art and it's like, well, what did I do? It's like, let's focus on one thing at a time. So, figure out how to play with the marks card, right? Drag and drop and figure out how different things work on there, or add a filter to your chart, very simple things that people can really explore a little bit more. That was kind of the goal of it. And, I also didn't want it to be something where, people felt stressed with the timeline. So that's why we do every 2 weeks. I think that gives people enough time to kind of stay on top of things. And, so I really wanted just to make it as accessible to folks and as easy for folks as we could. And, every year we're continuing to, I think, make it more and more accessible to people. I always like having Shreya and Victory on the team. Elisa Davis was on the team. I always try to bring in new people to bring in some, new perspectives and stuff. So having, kind of this cycle of leadership always continues to iterate on the project. I think the hardest part about the community projects is sourcing data. I think that's something that people might not think about, but, I definitely, for all of our projects, we always want to provide people with a very clean and easy to work with data set. And sometimes finding a topic that is interesting and relevant with clean data can be really challenging. And so I think that might be maybe the hardest thing that we do. Other than that, I think, we definitely find passion in helping folks get started. We all started with, very limited Tableau skills. And so, seeing people grow in this space is just, really rewarding for us. So yeah, I think that's, pretty much it for that question.
Well, thank you for doing the heavy lifting with sourcing the data, because I feel like that is kind of always the hardest part of a project. What do I actually want to visualize?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times I will turn to the community projects, because you've already done that work for us.
Oh yeah, if you go to data.world, I think, we have over probably 150 free data sets for people to use. So
yeah,
lots of good
it's
resources
amazing.
there.
So thank you. Okay, why do you all think focusing on fundamentals is so important, especially now with kind of all the advanced and AI-driven features available? Now we have Viz extensions. What is it about the fundamentals that is so important?
Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa. So fundamentals are what make advanced features meaningful. Yes, AI can help to visualize faster, suggest insights, or automate analysis. But if you do not understand the basics of chart selection, the layout, storytelling, it becomes difficult to judge whether the output is actually effective. So strong fundamentals help you to ask better questions. Is this the right chart for the data? Is the message clear enough? Is this design helping or is it distracting? So at Back to Viz Basic, we believe that when you master the foundational charts like bar chart, line charts, and so on, it helps you to build visual literacy to be able to use advanced charts. So yes, technology evolves, but clarity and good design principles will always remain constant. So I will say it's always very important to focus on fundamentals because that is the foundation on which every other thing lies.
That's probably most of the charts we're all using in our day-to-day as well, right? We're probably not putting these crazy charts on our work dashboards and Vizes either. So awesome. Okay, so what is kind of the vision for Back to Viz Basics, or kind of the long-term goal for the project? Eric, why don't you?
Yeah, so like I said, I think every
you were frozen.
year we
Okay,
try
yes,
to,
you're good now.
every year, like I said, we try to make it more and more accessible to everybody. We try to separate kind of our personal brand just to the Back to Viz Basics brand. So new this year, we have our own, LinkedIn page. We have our own X account. We're in the Tableau community Slack. For the folks on the call, if you're not familiar with the Tableau Slack, that was launched by Tableau last year, right around Tableau conference. So definitely join that. It's run by Tableau, a great way to connect with other folks. We have our own channel on there. But yeah, I don't know if I have like a perfect end goal in mind. I do think about the old days of Tableau conference where there was that kind of like day zero and Makeover Monday would fill a room of like, I don't know, maybe three. I like when I think about those rooms, I felt like there was 500 or more people in that Makeover Monday room, and I just remember being in it, thinking it was so cool, seeing Andy and Eva on stage presenting, and just looking at everybody that loved that project so much. So I guess that's like an end goal of mine. I don't know if that will ever happen, but I just want it to continue to be a place where people feel comfortable getting started with their data viz journey, and just really making it easy for people just to really build those foundational skills. So not sure if I have like a perfect like image of the future, but yeah, just continuing to make it easy for everybody.
Yeah. I remember those days too. My very first conference, I walked into that room and had no idea what Makeover Monday was. And was like, what did I just walk into?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. So you've had so many challenges at this point. Is there one challenge or viz that really stands out to you? I'll ask this of Shreya.
I would say it's hard to pick just one challenge or viz. The challenges that stand out most to me are the collaborations we do. They bring together different topics and perspectives while still keeping the focus on the fundamentals. So I think they're a lovely way to expand the challenge beyond just a single chart or a single technique. As for Vizes, what really stands out to me is how varied the submissions we get for each of our challenges. So even with a focused prompt, everyone brings their own perspective and style to their submissions. And we've had both beginners and experienced creators often surprise us with their creative approaches that we hadn't considered before. And that's why this tug is actually really special, because I'm really excited that you get to see Hideaki's work. His submissions are always so beautifully crafted, and it shows how creativity can shine through within a structured prompt. So lots of different challenges that stand out in that case.
That's always my favorite part about the community projects is everyone has the same data. It's my favorite thing about Iron Viz too, right? Where everyone gets the same data and you see such different creative products, right? It's just a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So what do you hope participants take away from participating in Back to Viz Basics?
Yeah, so from participating in Back to Viz Basics, we hope that participants are able to strengthen their foundations and gain confidence in their crafts. and that over time that growth becomes visible as part of a portfolio they can truly be proud of, and that hopefully opens up new opportunities for them. And beyond the charts, we also hope that they're able to discover a sense of community, the ability to grow alongside others who encourage you, challenge you, and celebrate you is a really special part of Activist Basics. And for many of us, those friendships have been the most meaningful takeaway.
That's beautiful, Shreya. Okay, lastly, what advice would you give to someone who has never participated, but maybe they're thinking of participating in the project for the very first time?
Okay, thank you. I think that will be for me. Yes, I'll say start simple. I know most times when you're trying to work on a particular data set, you turn on your screen, everything might seem blank, you don't know where to start from. I'll say start simple, don't overthink it. Yes, there's a data set, and that's one beautiful thing with Back to Viz Basics. We give you a guide on the particular charts to work on. So that tends to take a huge part of the entire thinking process. So all you need to do, just start simple, don't overthink it, take it one concept at a time. And another thing I would like to say is don't shy away from submitting your work. Yes, consistency is more important than perfection. So each week there's a new challenge. So don't say I don't think this is not good enough. You put that out there, and by the other time, you see, I've noticed over the time, the more I work on a project, the more better it becomes as it goes. So you take it one step at a time. You do this one this week, you try it again, and you see that perfection comes as you progress. So consistency is key. I'll take consistency more than perfection. So start simple and don't overthink the process. So I think that would be my advice for everyone.
Yeah, I'd like to add too that I had somebody ask me this the other day. You can start anywhere in the project. Just because we're in week 3 of 2026 doesn't mean that, you have to go back to the beginning. You can start in week 3. You can start back in 2024 if you want, or, whatever data set you want to start with. Feel free and continue to share it there. So there's no really strict guidelines of how to participate in our project.
That's awesome. That's fantastic advice, because sometimes you go to those websites. Like if you look at the Makeover Monday website, it's just like years of data and it's kind of overwhelming. Same thing with you guys. You go in, you're like, oh, do I have to do all these? So it's good to remind people that no, just pick up wherever you want, do your first one, kind of break that seal and put your work out there. Well, awesome. You all are doing amazing work with this project. It's one of my favorite community projects. And we just want to thank you for your time, for sharing your experience and your story about the project and being here with us today. We hope we see everyone here participate in Back to Viz Basics in coming challenges and weeks. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Lisa.
Yeah,
and the rest of the Tableau Public team. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Perfect. So now we are going to take a look at one of these Back to Viz Basic Viz of the Days. Eric and Hideaki Eric's going to help walk Hideaki through his Viz.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Hideaki Yamamoto is a payment application engineer at an IT company in Japan. He discovered Tableau Public and became captivated by the various Vizes created by his fellow DataFam members. Since then, he continues to create stunning visualizations in order to convey the joy of gaining insights from data through Tableau. In addition, he is working to raise the spirits of the Tableau community in his home region of Japan, the northwest region of Hokuriku. So welcome, Hideaki. When I Googled Hokuriku, I saw a lot of cherry blossom pictures. Are the cherry trees all across Japan, or are they only in a few regions like yours?
Yeah, and in Japan, almost region.
Cool. Well, they're all pretty. So. Right. Well, if you'll start sharing and
wait a minute.
Walk through it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Eric. Sorry. I'm grateful for the opportunity to present here. I don't speak English at all in my daily life, so I appreciate your patience. And today, I'd like to share the behind the biz story of the biz you can see on the screen. Here's the agenda. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Hideaki Yamamoto, and I live in Japan. And right now in Japan, it's 2 a.m. This session is very late for me, but I took day off tomorrow. So please don't worry about me. And actually, I'm very excited to be here, so I'm not sleepy at all. Yeah. I work as an application engineer. In my job, I usually build systems using languages like Python and Node.js rather than Tableau. And I first discovered Tableau about 5 years ago, and I've continued using it outside of work ever since. And I started publishing pieces on Tableau Public about 3 years ago. And I've been selected twice as a Tableau ambassador, previously called Tableau Public Ambassador. And today I talk about the piece I created last year. I joined a project called Back to Biz Basics, and this piece was selected as Biz of the Day on Tableau Public. The theme that week was Biz Intuitive. In this piece, I focus heavily on Biz Intuitive. So today, I mainly talk about this topic. In this work, I didn't treat Biz Intuitive as just additional text. Instead, I treated it as something to design intentionally. So I'd like to share some of the design thinking behind it. On the other hand, there are things I won't cover today, just like deep data analysis or detailed calculations or LD expressions or how to build specific charts. And today, I want to focus on practical tips for designing effective tooltips. Now, let's take a look at the actual biz in Tableau. This piece is about the digital quality of life index. The higher the index values, the closer the point is plotted to the outer edge of the circle. But this is not just a circular plot. When you hover over a point, a tooltip appears. And it almost looks like a small dashboard. When I designed this piece, I clearly separated the rows of the main view and the tooltips. The main view is designed to show overall trends by region, Asia, Europe, and North America, and on. It helps us compare countries across different index components. And this circular layout is created using a map layer technique. The original dataset provided for Back to Biz Basics only included index values. However, that alone is not enough to create a circular structure. So in this piece, I added one dummy dataset. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. This dataset is simply contains numbers from 0 to 100. Using those numbers, I calculated circular lines directly inside Tableau. Normally, when I create backgrounds, and I often use tools like Canva, but for this piece, I didn't use any external tools such as Canva or Figma. And everything you can see here was built entirely inside Tableau. Now, let's talk about the tooltip. The tooltip explains detailed values behind the numbers shown in the main view. As I mentioned earlier, I challenged myself to design it like a mini dashboard. And today's sessions will mainly focus on what's happening inside this tooltip. Before going deeper into my design, let's step back and quickly review what built-in tooltip is. In simple terms, built-in tooltip allows you to embed a worksheet inside a tooltip. So, when is built-in tooltip effective? For example, what you want to keep the main view clean and simple, or when you want to reduce visual clutter, or when you want to show details within the same context. One of the biggest strengths of tooltip is the user can see more details without clicking. It creates a drill-down experience without adding extra interactions. So if you want to reduce the number of clicks, building tooltip is very powerful. However, I don't think building tooltip works in every situation. For example, when too much information is packed into it, or when sheets are not organized cleanly, readability is low, or when too many sheets and calculations slow down performance. In those cases, building tooltip may not be the right choice. It's not a magic solution. That's why structure and layout designs are very important. Now, I'd like to explain how I designed the overall layout of this dashboard. For the design, I chose a deep blue color and the font Poppins. The reason is very simple. I just really like this color and the font. And if we look at the structure, the main view is divided into two large blocks. On the left side, you see the fixed information, just like the title or short description and the credit. And on the right side, that's the main view. You notice a circular plot here. And as you saw earlier, I embedded many sheets inside it. So why did I design in this way? Because from the beginning, I planned to let the tooltips carry most of the informations. The main view is intentionally designed as an entry point. It invites users to explore deeper through interaction. Since the theme of Back to Biz Basics that week was built-in tooltip, so I want to fully commit to the concept. To make the built-in tooltip experience stronger, I kept the main view as simple as possible. Data. Quick note about the data. I didn't use all of the data that was originally provided. Instead, I select only the values directly related to the digital quality of life index. The reason is consistency. I wanted the main view and the tooltip content to feel aligned. And honestly, there was another practical reason. It's performance. If I had added more charts, the dashboard and the tooltip would likely have become heavier and slower. So I made a conscious decision to stop there. And now from here, I'd like to explain the structural design of the built-in tooltip. When I created this piece, I designed it based on one idea. A tooltip is a small dashboard. I don't think of a tooltip as just a place to show text. I design it with the same mindset as building a real dashboard. That means I think about where the viewer's eye will move and how to arrange information clearly and what information to include or what to remove and how to use colors and fonts consistently. However, because of how built-in tooltip works, it is not suitable for interactive actions like clicking or filtering. So that limitation is something we need to keep in mind. And let's take another look at the structure of this built-in tooltip. How many sheets do you think are hidden inside the tooltip? Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 sheets in total. And 6 of them show no data at all. They are completely blank. So I'm not only using sheets to display charts. For example, a sheet just to display the country name and a sheet only for padding and spacing, and a sheet just to draw a driving line on the left side of the gauge chart. So sheets are being used as layout components, not only for data. Now, let's look at the 5 index chart at the bottom. You can see they have a rounded background color. Recently, Tableau announced that in this spring, rounded object will be available in dashboards. But that feature is for dashboard objects only. In this case, the rounded backgrounds is inside a built-in tooltip. So how did I create it? I used annotations. Annotations allows you to set around backgrounds. So I used them as if they were layout elements, almost like background containers. Built-in tooltip has many limitations. You cannot use dashboard containers or background layer inside it. So instead, I used annotations as layout components to create the rounded backgrounds. But there's something unusual about these 5 charts. If you've ever used annotations as backgrounds before, you might notice something strange. The axis labels are inside the rounded backgrounds. Normally, that's not possible. So how did I do it? I didn't use axis labels. Instead, I replaced them with other features. For the vertical labels on the left, I used reference lines. Reference line labels can be placed inside the chart area, so I used them as if they were axis labels. For the year labels at the bottom, I used mark labels. I placed those labels carefully so they sit inside the rounded backgrounds. I think this is easier to understand if we look at the actual sheets. Let me show you. Wait a minute. Yeah. You can see the structure is divided into 3 stacked charts. And the top chart is a circle with a label. The second is a line chart. And the third is a chart that only shows year labels. By separating them like this, it looks as if all the axis labels are inside the rounded backgrounds. By keeping all labels within the background area, the section becomes very clear. The visual grouping is stronger, and the information flow inside the tooltip becomes easier to follow. As I mentioned earlier, the original dataset includes more information than these 5 index values. But I chose not to include everything in the tooltip because some of that information was not directly related to the theme of this piece. Also, information about the relative ranking between countries. That rows belong to the main view. So I intentionally kept that out of the tooltip. Without this kind of subtraction, tooltips easily become overloaded. Too much information makes them harder to read, and it can also hurt performance. So designing a tooltip is not only about adding elements, it's also about deciding what to remove. And before I close, I'd likely to briefly share some implementation considerations from this project. First is performance. Try not to make your tooltip too heavy. In this case, I use 13 sheets. Because of that, it takes a few seconds for the tooltip to appear. Honestly, I feel it became a bit heavy. And this is something I would improve next time. I think I could have reduced the number of sheets. Another point is readability. The charts are small, but I made sure the numbers are easy to read. In Tableau, you can technically use fonts as small as 6 points, but in reality, 6 points numbers are very hard to read. So I adjusted the size to make sure the numbers are still clear and not crushed. And some of you may also be wondering, How can sheets be replaced side by side inside within 2TIP? The trick is in the top sheet. There is a behavior in Tableau where sheets placed below can align horizontally as long as they stay within the width of the top sheets. So I placed the wide dummy sheets at the top, and that allows the sheets below to be arranged side by side. Also, I set the sheet to entire view. This helps the viz display cleanly inside the 2TIP. And there were also things I couldn't achieve in this viz. Originally, I wanted to add a background color to the entire 2TIP. The main view has a dark blue backgrounds, but the 2TIP backgrounds is white. I wanted the 2TIP backgrounds also be dark blue. Was it impossible? It was half possible and half impossible. In Tableau Desktop, it worked perfectly. Wait a minute. Yeah. Dark blue backgrounds. The chart displays correctly with the dark blue backgrounds. However, after publishing to Tableau Public, their appearance changed. Here's a Tableau Public web UI, and unexpected white gaps appears between sheets. For me, unity inside the 2TIP is very important. So I focused on keeping it stable and consistent rather than decorative. That's why I gave up on adding the background color. Now, let me summarize. I think of building 2TIP as a second canvas. It allows us to show what cannot fully be expressed in the main view. However, we must always think about visual unity or information selection, or simplicity. And I believe the main story should still work even if 2TIP does not appear. Especially in business dashboard, not everyone will hover. People who are not familiar with Tableau may not even expect another chart to appear on hover. So it's important that the main view alone can still tell the story clearly. And one more recommendation, always test your 2TIP not only in Tableau Desktop, but also in Tableau Public, Tableau Cloud, and Tableau Server. Don't assume everything is fine just because the main view looks correct. Make sure the 2TIP works properly in every environment. I hope today's sessions gives you ideas to create the next levels of Tableau dashboards and the next levels of 2TIPs. That's all for me. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Hideaki. That was most impressive. I think Lisa will probably have annotations with rounded corners in her next visit of the day. So, but yeah, that looked beautiful. And I would not have expected those white lines to show up, on Tableau Public, but it's a different rendering engine. So Always testing it is key. I don't see any other questions. Just lots of accolades of awesome, great stuff. So thank you for taking the time to be with us today and sharing your beautiful viz.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, if you'll stop sharing, I will share my screen and we will do a quick swag drawing. So I've got everybody loaded who checked in. So one quick spin of the wheel. We have a $50 gift certificate to the Tableau store, which is changing next month. So Christy Elhart Mackey. Christy, I hope you're on community Slack. If you are, shoot me a message or you can DM me here in the chat with your email address. That's what I need to send you the gift certificate. So congratulations, Christy. And we will get you a gift card for $50 to the Tableau store. All right, back to you, Lisa. All right, if I can get my screen to stop. There we go.
Okay, we now have with us Priyanka, who is going to introduce Will Sutton and to talk about his Tableau Public MCP project. Over to you guys.
Thanks, Lisa. So before I pass it on to Will, let me give a quick intro about Will. So everyone knows Will through all his work, but let's just do the overview of him. So Will is the data and AI consultant at Information Lab, where he works with different teams and helps them get more value out of their data. He is very passionate about Tableau and AI, which we all know through his immense amount of work in GitHub. Today he's going to walk us through this really interesting project called Tableau Public MCP. And we got a sneak peek into it and it's really exciting. So I'm going to pass it back to Will to give him time to go through this. And before I do that, Will, we all know about all your Tableau stuff, your AI stuff, but give us something like out of your Tableau world. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. So at the moment, I'm really like waylaid with a baby at the moment. That is by now my world. It is everything at the moment. I used to do quite a lot of running and exercise. I completed the Ironman 10 years ago. So in the UK, so I did that. That was a thing. I joined a running club. I've been doing that. So traveling around with them. But yeah, I'm now homebound with a baby. So it's very sad how things go. But
yeah.
yeah. Right, let me go and share my screen and we'll get this on the road. Okay, folks. All right, let's go on this first time sort of demoing in full Tableau Public MCP. So I'm really pleased to bring it to this user group. And what I wanted to share is that I've really been on a journey with AI and not just like understanding it for myself, but how I can make like the world a better place for you guys. Like actually not just like how I can go and empower the community to do a bit more. This started off with some simple projects that I had ideas in mind and then worked to more and more things. So started off, I think, end of 2023, I put together a GPT to go and do the Tableau certification. So I was able to get ChatGPT to go and pass the cert, like a mocked up version of the cert. But then I decided, let's go and turn that into an actual study guide. So what this tool will go and do is actually generate questions on the Tableau certification for you. So if you were stuck or you wanted to get some practice in, that's a free to use GPT on the GPT store for you to go and use. I've also been doing a lot lately with Tableau MCP. So this is a new functionality where you can go and have a AI chat with your data source on Tableau. I've dropped a link into the chat for if you want to go and get started with putting together an AI chatbot with your data on Tableau. So there's a whole starter kit there, all with instructions on how to set it up and guides on how to do it. But I shared this picture here. This was me at DataFam Europe towards the end of last year. And there was a triggering moment I had at this conference, and it was actually during the keynote. This was when Summer Jones, our Chief Product Officer at Tableau, came up and started talking about Tableau and MCP and these AI capabilities, and talk about, oh, there's an MCP server for Tableau Server, for Tableau Cloud, and for Tableau Next. Wherever you are in the Tableau platform, there's an AI capability for you. It's thinking, you know, there's one platform that's definitely missing from this lineup. It's even got a space here for it as well. So what I decided to do was just go and make it myself, which is Tableau Public's MCP server. Okay, you're probably thinking, what is MCP? What is this doing in this function? We'll get onto that. I have one slide for an explainer on MCP. So you can have an AI model. So you can have your ChatGPT. We'll be showing you Claude, which is a really good one. But trying to get this to communicate with Tableau Public or anything on content on Tableau Public can be really challenging. MCP comes in as this sort of set of tools that the AI model can use to interact with Tableau Public. So understand things about your user profile, understand all the great workbooks out there as well. MCP, I've had it described as like a USB port. Like if you say, go and connect your mouse up to your computer just knows how to use your mouse. It just works out how to use it, and then you're away. The same is true here. So it makes for a much more consistent experience. So our AI tools will be able to use the MCP server I've made to go and do some cool stuff on Tableau Public. So let's get into it. That's the slides. So I'm not one for slides. So, but if you're on Tableau Public, okay, you want to see all the cool work from like back to Viz Basics. So I'll go and search for back to Viz Basics. Tons of cool Vizes here, so much stuff to go and learn. And say if I want to come down this one, like, oh, KPIs are really good, right? Go and look on this one, like KPIs. Now, okay, cool. Nice Viz here, sort of some nice things here. But if I'm starting to like learn Tableau, the way I've been doing it for the last, ever since I started, I mean, ever since it's come out, it's going to come in to download. I'm going to download the workbook, and I'm going to have to go and like reverse engineer what's going on in this Viz. Well, you don't have to do that anymore because this is full of a whole kind of pitfall. So you have to know a lot about Tableau to know where to look to find certain things. What you can do is you can just go and take this URL and then go over to Claude. So on Claude, I've got Tableau MCP, Public MCP all set up. I also have a guide at the end of how you can go and do this. Got the setup in my connectors. So this is all Tableau Public MCP is there. Here, and I can ask it just simply like, how was this Viz made? There we go. And we can let Claude go and do its work. So with Claude, you get these steps come up here, sort of simplified down what is happening. So it's going to do a thinking step here, where it's going to understand, okay, what this is about, and set out a plan of what it's going to do. So you're going to go and get the workbook details. So you see the steps it's taking here. So get workbook details. Now this is an API call that works on Tableau Public, where it can actually go and find that workbook and understand some of the parameters around that workbook. So key ones to look out for are allow data access is true. That means you can download it. Well, it's already going ahead for me. What it will do next is go and download the workbook for you, so you don't need to do it. And then it'll start unpacking it and understanding the structure of the workbook, calculated fields, anything like that. What it's effectively doing is writing you this guide of how this Viz was put together. Yes, in the chat, this is available for free. You also don't need any authentications or anything like that. This is all publicly available information. So this is all available for free, and you can get started very quickly. Is there one for ChatGPT? So I haven't looked into how ChatGPT uses MCP, but this MCP tool would work with ChatGPT effectively. I've just done all of mine in Claude because Claude made the MCP technology. I find it really good to work with. Okay, so we can take a look at what we've got here. So a little bit of intro of Viz, when it was made, all the views, overview of what it's about. look into the data source, so we know it's a CSV file under the hood. We then see the actual worksheets that are going on. So 7 worksheets. It's always good. Like you can always go on the INVIS submissions. I remember I was looking at Kevin Wee's one. There was like nearly like 70 sheets being used there, which is always like, oh, it's a lot. You can see what's being used as well in terms of background images. But this is one of the things I really like, is they will give you all the calculated fields. It can be a real stumbling block for understanding how things get built, which can be really helpful just to see. Also explaining things like level of detail calculations being used here, like this fixed max here, which is really nice. It's a really nice way for you to be taught about a viz without actually having to go and deduce what it is yourself. You know, it almost writes you this complete guide how to go and do this. Okay, so a lot of how this works. So one of the things on packing a viz I will mention is that when you download a Tableau workbook, it comes down as a TWBX file. That is effectively a zip folder. You can even rename it in the extension to .zip, and then you can extract it like a zip folder. And in that, you'll get the underlying TWB file. You'll then get the data source and any images from that. That's how it can tell these images behind here and look into the actual data source as well. And then we're using these tools here to go and pass the XML to come out. Yep, so doesn't read just Tableau Public. So these are tools that would effectively work with any Tableau workbook. I haven't tried them. If you want to have a go with them, let me know, or bring me on a call. We'll have a go putting this together. That'd be fun. But yeah, so effectively I've got a diagram of how any viz was made. Now, that's like great for explaining it. So it's not an official MCP on Claude. I haven't published it there yet. This is all very new. So it's Tableau Public MCP, and it's on GitHub at the moment, and I'll share it at the end. Okay, so I've got an understanding how any viz is made. Right. What if I wanted to go and do something more practical? Like, hey, let's go back to viz basics. And yeah, we've got a challenge here. Week three to go and build a dot plot. That will take you to data.world. You'll get this CSV file come down, but we can actually get the MCP server to have a go at helping us build this viz. So I can go over here. I will go over to one thing you want to do is go to settings. What you want to do is go over to capabilities. In here, you have file execution. This is really needed for spreadsheets, which is our CSV file. So if I enable that, I'm then going to start a new chat. Right. So I'm going to be, if I can bring in this pet ownership data here. Nice. And I'm going to say over here, using examples of Tableau Public, can you help me build dot plots with this data set? There we go. I'm going to let it run. So it's going to take a look at the data source, and then what it's going to do is start looking on Tableau Public. So one of the APIs we have here is for search visualizations. So search visualization is just using the search functionality on Tableau Public. So we can even have a look at these as well while this is going on. Let's jump back to here. So if I was to say go for dot plot, I can have a look at which ones are going to come up. So this is effectively our tool, but this is just another call that the AI is going to make. So if I have a look in search visualizations, yeah, CBNC Digital, we've got Andy Kriebel, he's always going to come up, and others there as well. So it's going to take a look at those visualizations. Now what it's going to do is start getting images of these workbooks, and then it should start downloading the workbooks and understanding how those have been made to go and make you a guide on how to go and make this with your data. Okay, this is going to take a little bit longer. If you've got any questions in the chat, happy to answer them at this point. Or this is going off and just building its guide. Yeah. Okay. Right, so it's gone through, done all this, and then it's just going to go and create the markdown file here, which is, ooh. This is not like, so the only issue is when you do this, when it goes and makes the markdown file, and this doesn't pop up like it did earlier. That's when it's running as an artifact. Do you need a pro account? Question. I don't think you do. It is like a custom MCP you can set up. So you can't do anything with interacting with Tableau Public. I think any of the interactions would require you to be logged in. And for these APIs, these are all just using the public, like publicly available ones. So no authentication is needed. Okay. Nice. Okay, so here we go. So now we've got a little guide on how to go and take their data sets and go and build out a little dot plots. So cats versus dog populations, connected dot plot for dumbbell charts. Yeah, we've got a few visitors here, so they'll go, you can go off and they'll go and link to the actual source material on Tableau Public. Or if we use circle, measure name, measure value on a shared axis. So lots of nice techniques to go and learn here as well. Even things like down to how to go and connect to your data set. Spot, summarize population, yeah. And then starts giving you things like calculated fields to go and show as well. Yeah, formatting guys in terms of even like moving like grid lines is quite nice as well. So this is something I've found and used, and it's been really helpful. Like for times when you just can't think of how to do it, remember things. So like one of the things I used it for was like small multiple charts. Like I could never remember like which one is on rows, which one's on columns, and that calculated field that goes in there. But this is able to sort of help me just go and do that straight away. Now, okay, so if you can download it from Tableau Public, you can go and have this go and build you a guide for that. Now, very cool stuff going on. But so what these tools are designed for you to do is go and help you build out that portfolio, all right? It's to help you get there. But what if you're in a case of someone like Bianca, where you have tons? Like I was looking at this portfolio and there's so much stuff here. Like this is amazing how like nearly 400 visitors, you've got so many featured here, and just so much content. You've been really good at like dividing up like the collections on Tableau Public, like Visit of the Day, Iron Viz, tutorial visits. You have so much content here that could be used. And crucially, there's this hire me button here. Now, one of the things I've always used Tableau Public for is that ability sort of to have my own portfolio, to share my skills with the world, and that crucially land me that next role. So while this has been going on, I've been really just stalling. So Priyanka, for you, I decided let's go and see if we can get you a job as a sports data analyst. So I've seen you've got a lot of sporting vizzes on there. What it's doing is it's going to go and check your profile. It will then go and start getting different images of your work and then start building up a one-page HTML web page. So imagine like you could go and send this off like to your recruiter or wherever, or your like favorite sports company, and be like, yeah, come hire me. So what this is doing is going to go and take your username, go and take the information from your profile. So name and the bio you've imported out of there, the websites as well. It will then start looking through all the workbooks, only 20. You'll definitely need to look for more than that. And also all the categories that you put together. And then it will start slowly going and building up a little website for you. So get all the thumbnails, these different visitors, and it's going to take a little while. So while this is going churning away, going to build you up like this new resume portfolio. I will sort of explain where all of this comes from. Okay, So while that's going, this all started from this project. So this was a project I did about 6 years ago. So I saw a lot of cool reports in the like projects in the community where people have put together things using Tableau Public's APIs. And I saw there was no central place where these were all documented or governed or anything. So I just started exploring what those APIs were and putting them here to go and use. So I have this repository, so of Tableau Public APIs. So you can see all the different types of API calls that are available on here. So these are things that you can get information like we've seen here, getting information about your profile, getting information about your workbooks. But crucially, this was the one that we have now that I discovered about December last year. Was they actually, if you know the name of a workbook, like the name of a work, like the workbook name, you can download it as an API call. As long as it's downloaded, you can as the data access is true, you can go and download it. And that's sort of a lot of the secret behind what you've seen at the moment. So this is sort of one of these things that I come back to, like, oh, this was like 6 years ago, but it really led to this project happening today. How are we doing? How are we doing with this? Oh, it's going to go and create you a stunning one-page portfolio. So see how far we're going. Yes, so just writing the HTML code at the moment. Again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat.
I think I saw one from Eric. Yeah, Eric has a question that he posted about, I think asking about how Tableau Public MCP has updates and how would you know about that?
Okay, so very timely question because I've made something that makes this a bit easier. So on GitHub, if you have a tool called GitHub Desktop, it's very good for syncing changes from what happens on the GitHub like websites to what you see locally on. You would then have to go and rebuild the code, which is a bit annoying. There is a new setup I have where you actually just install it straight from a package, so you always have the latest version of this. Priyanka, we have your website available. So one thing is that you can just go and open Chrome and nice. Oh no, we've lost a few visitors along the way. Definitely done it where this sometimes happens with the API, but we got most of them here. Okay, so as you saw, this was just like one prompt. You can always do more prompts to go and tailor this if you wanted. If you're not a fan of the green, the lime green, if you wanted things to be a bit bigger, but this or that. What this is using is also using Claude's front-end skill to sort of tailor the work a bit more, make it a bit nicer. So lots of nice like little effects going on here as well. Really nice. So one of the cool things that I've done with this before, like for an example, is I've actually gone and sort of taken information from my LinkedIn profile as well to go and make the job application sort of portfolio. So you can go and see like an example here where it's picking up things like from my LinkedIn profile, like my CV, like career timeline and things like this that you can add in. So you can bring in Tableau Public content along with like your typical resume type content as well. So lots of options here. Okay. So if you're interested about this, so Tableau Public MCP, we'll share this in the chat so you can go get started with this. There we go. So I'm going to put that link in the chat. I'll also show you, I do have with the other link shared is there's a whole examples area. So I put together a little web page of just like some of the examples. So this was the job application one where you can get some prompt templates you can go and use. There's other ones like how was this dashboard made? You can go much more in depth. I haven't gone too far because you can see the time it takes to unpack all this stuff. But yeah, certain things here that I found like very, very useful in terms of putting together these prompts. But yes, Tableau Public MCP is here. There is the setup. This is the new setup that is involved. So this would download the latest version. So I've published this as a package on npm. There's some other stuff. Effectively, this means that you would have the latest version every time you use Tableau Public MCP. There is also a little video setup guide with me. Honestly, it doesn't take very long to get this set up, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes in the video, and that's it, and you're away. So great to hear, Eric, that you were able to set this up quite straightforward. Okay. So yeah, that's what I've got for you on this Tableau Public MCP. I'm happy to hang out if anyone's got any questions or anything that you want to ask the MCP, or any vizzes you want explained. Or dissected, like say any of those iron vizzes.
I think you have answered most of the questions. I was just checking the chat, but I think everyone agrees this is impressive. I can personally see this being so useful for documentation, like reverse engineering for sure, yes. But the first step that came to my mind was documentation. I just really did not like that part. So I would just, extract the first draft, and then I can probably clean up if I need to, but this saves a lot of effort. I also remember your Tableau API project that you did a few years back. I actually used that API of yours to build my first portfolio on Tableau Public. That itself took me at least a day or two, maybe 3 days. And you just showed us a portfolio in a few seconds. So I can't wait to explore this further this weekend.
Great to hear that. Yeah, there's been many sort of fun projects. I remember that I've even seen people do things like getting an AI to go and roast your portfolio and things like this. So,
yeah, I remember that one. Yes. Yeah, I can clearly see a lot of use case. Lisa has built such amazing music with AI, and you've built such amazing AI products with Tableau. So, yeah, variety of use cases.
One of us is doing a little more important work. I did too well.
Oh, okay. Oh, I wasn't going to say.
But I would still say the music part is still fun. We did get to jam.
Yeah. And that's not easy to get it right with the music either. I've tried.
Great. Just double check if there's any more questions. Yeah, I think we're good, and I think I think we already shared the materials that you have from your project. So that itself has very detailed steps on setup, and the video also really helps. So thank you so much, Will, for this detailed presentation. We are so excited to get started with all our ideas.
No, thank you very much. Great to be here, and great to show you all what I've been working on. And yeah, obviously, if you've got any feedback, any things that you think, why isn't it working like this, or any use cases you want to share, those all help make the tool better for everyone else. So
yeah, I tried it first without watching the video, and I don't want to say it was a disaster, but watching the video definitely helped. So do that first.
Yeah, this was amazing. I'm obsessed with everything that we saw in this whole meeting today. I'm absolutely blown away by this tool, by Hideaki's Viz and tooltips, all the cool things that we learned. And just want to thank everyone again. Thank you to the whole Back to Viz Basics teams for collaborating with us on this, for you all for presenting, and for coming to us globally all over the world in very radically different time zones. So thank you all so much. This has been an amazing meeting. And next month, I'm really excited. We are going on spring break, you guys. We are going to hang out with all of the education tugs. So we're spring breaking with the EDU tugs. That is the higher ed, K-12, CCC, university teaching and learning. All the education tugs are joining forces with us to give an education-focused meeting. Our community spotlight is going to be none other than Jeff Schaefer. He's going to join us, as are Emanuela Tudome and Dennis Cow, featuring their two education-related Viz of the Days. That's going to be on March 19th at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 Eastern, and 2 a.m. Japan time. So we hope you all can join us for that one. And yeah, again, if you want to build your own Viz of the Day, a couple of tips are to build something that is timely or topical, highlights a new Tableau feature, spotlights a diverse community, includes a novel chart type or Tableau trick, communicates key insights or story, or is super basic, right? It does one of the community projects and does it really, really well. So thank you all again for being here. We hope to see you all in March. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.